Here we go. Hello guys, good afternoon. So we're going to demonstrate now how to create the speed.net core API. So from the start, we will create a new project here. So this is from scratch, so everybody can follow through, especially those just starting. So since we are creating a speed.net core project, speed.net core API, so we choose this one is speed.net core web API. We click next. And then let's say to name our project as um, let's see core identity system. So this means to say that I'm creating a project for ASP.NET Core Identity. Identity is meant to say there is an authentication. This part we will be using GWT Bearer Authentication. So Core Identity app, that's the project name. So we can configure the HTTPS for this. If you uncheck, there will be no SSL certificate. If you check it, it will be have a SSL certificate. So for now, we are not going to use it. All right, so we can create. So after creating that, you will have a template for the ESP.NET Core API. All right, so everything is taken care by the Microsoft. So all you have to do is just to continue building. All right, so let's see the project. As I said, it's I already created the template. So there is a sample here in our controller. There is a weather forecast API controller. So as you can see here, this is the root controller, which meant to say local host, then the controller itself. So it could be weather forecast only, not including the controller keyword. All right, so that's the app setting is already here created. So you just add anything you want to add from here. And aside from that, the program is different from the .NET framework. In .NET Core, I mean in ASP.NET Core, it's created like this, but it's already by default it's already there. So web builder that use startup and the startup type or the model. So this is the startup that's created. So this is the part where dependency injection is being done. So that is why there's already by default Microsoft extension that dependency injection. So this is the startup class. As you can see, the constructor is injecting the I configuration. So whatever you will have to inject from your app setting, you can use that. This variable configuration. They will say it when we are going to use it further. So aside from that, the configure services has already have a method here. I'll type interface size service collection. So this is sure the part that you can add your services. That's how dependency injection is being done. So in Microsoft, they already created a template, so we just need to add. All right. So when we run this one, we will able to access the by default it's a weather forecast. So as you can see in the controller, there is an array of string that it will display now. Right, so it's still loading. Okay, so this is what I talking about. So this is the API address, localhost 49, and then the weather forecast, and then the array of string that is being added here. So where is that? It is from here, from the controller. This is what I'm talking about. There is an array of string summary, and this is the method that will display it. It's certificate. So there's a weather forecast. So this one is being displayed. All right. So this is the oh I'm almost low, but so I borrow. Okay, so now we're going to proceed. First and foremost, what we are going to install the package is the we will need to install first the Microsoft Tools package. Uh, Install package Microsoft speed.net for tools package. Uh, Let me see from my other project what package that. Hmm, where's that? But anyway, we'll just Microsoft. Let's install first the Microsoft uh, entity entity framework. Entity framework for using version 3.1. So now in our package dependency, and then we are going to install as well the Microsoft ESP netcore dot identity dot entity framework same version right is being added, and then since we are using SQL Server, we need to install as well the Microsoft Entity Framework. Entity Framework for the SQL Server. So these are the three entity framework. So now let's create our class. So we are going to connect to the SQL Server database. So first I will create a folder here, and this will be my DB context folder. And I will create a class here for my DB context. So I will name it as authentication DB context. So authentication DB context. I will inherit from identity DB context. So identity, it is the ASP.NET Core identity. So let's bring the name first. That's one ASP.NET Core identity to framework. And then we are going to pass the we are going to create a constructor so we can inherit setter. So that's the shortcut for having a constructor setter, then double tap. Then we are going to pass here the db config option. db config option. db config option. So we'll bring the namespace for netcore. Netcore. Then let's have a variable option. And then we have to call the base passing the variable option. Okay. So that way we can be able to connect to our SQL server. Okay, so we just need to specify the SQL connection string. So from that, Since we are going to use dependency section, we'll go to the startup, startup here, and then configure services. We add services that add DB context services that add DB context. We pass the type. This is authentication. Our class the authentication DB context. That is our class that we are created. We bring the namespace. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. So that's the option here. We run that, and then we're going to put the configuration option. We're going to use the option builder will be use SQL Server. Use SQL Server. Uh, why there is no SQL Server here? SQL Server. I already installed the SQL Server. This is with the server. Let's bring the name is I think. And that what? This SQL Server I already it's already here. And the different SQL Server. So I have to be able to use it. Oh, this option should be use SQL Server because we need to connect to SQL Server. Oh, here. And then the configuration, we have the variable here, this one, the I configuration. So this way we can access our setting in the app setting.json files. So get connection string, then connection string that is being and it's being defined in the app setting. So there's no connection string there. So we need to add connection string and then the name of the connection string. Let's see the authentication con and the value would be let's go to our server and no, let's see from that. The easiest way to get the connection string if you don't memorize the syntax is to on your server explorer and if you are already connected there you can just go to properties you can copy this one the connection string. It's the fastest way. But of course, there's a website that you can have the connection string. Connectionstring.com, I think that's the site. But this is the best way. This is easy to grab and paste it. Okay, so we are accessing, I mean, this source is my local initial catalog. We will change it to the database. The database is not created yet, so it will be our code. We will issue a migration to create the database. So we have to see authentication TV and then integrated security through it means to say we are not using user ID password. So we are using Windows authentication here. So I think this is the configuration that is needed. And from that we can build add migration. So the context, then the startup we have here. Oh, we are not able to supply the connection. Just here. Okay, that will be the part one. Let's try to build it. And then try to create the migration. So add migration command, then nfdb. There's an error, so here's the error. So there's one package that we are missing here. So we need to install first the package for Microsoft Entity Framework for the tools version 3.1. So after we have the tools being installed, I think we can add the migration now. Add migration in FTV. Alright, so we have now the migration. So you can see in our folder migration, this is the migration DB. So these are the tables that the ASP.NET identity is by default. Okay. So for us to create this table to our actual database, having this database name, authentication DB, which in our SQL server, there's no authentication DB here yet. Okay, so all you have to do is you need to issue this command of this database. Okay. Right, let's check our database here. We want to replace this. And here is it. We were able to have authentication DB. And there's are the defaults token, user, links. So in the next video, we will be creating a user service that will add or will add user here. So the columns are already defined there. So we will create a API endpoint to log in and will insert or add the user here. So this is part one. So what we have done here is just to initially create the project and add our DB context, inheriting ITT DB context is coming from ESP.NET Core Identity Internet Framework because we will be using the identity system of ESP.NET Core Framework. And we had add the migration, so you see here the migration, and then after that we update the database. So that is why in our physical database, the database is created along with its tables. And then, all right, so and then in the app setting, we created the connection string. So that's it. Uh, yeah, this is part one of our project. So in part two, we will be starting to create our uh, API controller. So we will be creating the user manager services, which will allow us to configure our JWT token. So we will add the services that will allow us to configure an authentication using the bearer or the JWT token. So subscribe for if you like this video, subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell button. So in the coming video, you will be notified. And if you are learning, if you have something that you are going to to contribute or to say something, just leave the comment. And of course, we will learn together. So I'm just doing this for my documentary as well as for helping others who may need help, who may be looking for something like this tutorial is very I mean it's created from scratch. So hopefully I could be of help to those people who are just starting. So there are lots of videos on YouTube, but maybe this one is a very detailed one. So thanks for viewing and see you soon. Bye bye.